Previously on Sean's Outdoor Adventures, the Map Reading Challenge, Maryland Scouting Trip 2016. Andrew, Lewis, and I met up. We saw a rattlesnake. We scouted for an hour. We then met with Jason for the first time. We then pulled a prank over on Lewis, watched Jason's infamous prank video, raced back to camp, accidentally ran over a rattlesnake, gave Jason his Map Reading Challenge hat, cooked and ate dinner, then went to bed. Now let's pick up the action in the morning as we're all waking up at base camp. We'll start things off with a few morning words from none other than me.
Just got up from sleeping. Mosquito. It is amazing how bad I stink right now.
Next we have Lewis checking his air pressure because he got a nail in his tire and it's slowly leaking. So I gave my air compressor to Lewis to put some air in his tire and then walked over to see what's going on with Andrew.
Andrew is getting ready to come out of his cocoon.
I am not too pleased about being awake right now.
And why is that, sir?
I'm not much of a morning person. Unless I'm going hunting or fishing. Otherwise,
Forget about it.
Sleep. Need my beauty sleep.
Andrew and Lewis are clearly alive. Now it's time to check on Jason and see what's going on with him. Jason didn't get a tent yet for the Map Reading Challenge, so he ended up sleeping in his truck. As I got close to his truck, I began to notice that I was hearing something. Now, I have children, Jason has a son, and I was thinking, is there some kind of monitor thing that's playing like white noise in the background to help him sleep? What is that noise I'm hearing? So I kept leaning closer to try to figure it out, and I'm like, no, wait. That's just him snoring. Well, I learned a lesson when I was on that reality TV show, The Pilot, that didn't end up making it. One of the problems with the show was they picked a piece of land that was horrible for what we were trying to do. So I was like, all right, let me learn from their mistake and not make it myself. So I came down to this piece of public land the winter before, like in the late season, there was snow on the ground, and I just wanted to see what kind of deer sign is here. Is this a good spot to take guys for a Map Reading Challenge? And I saw a good bit of deer sign, so I was like, yeah, this is decent. And I actually sat a morning sit there, and I had an encounter with a shooter 8-point. I think he was an 8-point. It was a little hard to tell. He was about 85 to 100 yards, kind of working down through the woods kind of quickly, so I didn't get a real solid look at him, and I couldn't get the video camera on him. However, I let Lewis and Andrew pick their own spots for this Map Reading Challenge just to try to see what they would do, push their own skills. And I was really pleased to see that Lewis picked that piece of land where I had kind of scouted a little bit and originally was thinking about him in my mind when I was looking at it. So in the morning, I was showing him on the maps where I was seeing some of the deer sign when I was there.
This is essentially a saddle right
Essentially, this gives him an unfair advantage, but you know, when you're doing a Map Reading Challenge, it's good to talk to people and get any kind of information you can get about where you're planning to hunt to give you any edge you can possibly get to be successful. Because a Map Reading Challenge is difficult.
Can Jason come out and play?
Trying to.
How you doing, man? Did you sleep at all?
Yes and no. It's amazing when the windows cracked a little bit, the bugs that would come in here. These big, buzzy bugs that would wake me up.
It's all about the buzzy bugs anymore.
Well, after Jason got up, we collectively looked at the maps and went over strategies and ideas.
And the nice thing about them is they're right. Look on they're on a cover change right here.
Yeah.
With all this.
When there's a field right here, we set up here the last day. But
I just have to say, I am really proud of Lewis and Andrew I mean, both of these guys picked awesome spots. I know Andrew really impressed me with the one that he picked that we're going to look at later in this video. So when I was looking at the map, there was an area that I particularly circled as a great funnel area. I didn't say anything to the other guys. I was just going to let them, you know, pick whatever area they wanted. Well, Andrew said, you know, I was looking at this area and it just looks like a great funnel. And I'm like, yes, dude, I definitely think you should check that out. So it was just great to see both of these guys really excelling in their map reading skills. Lewis obviously is doing really well. He scored on the buck last year with his own map reading skills. Andrew has really impressed me too, like I said, with that funnel spot. We'll check that out later. Well, before we get to the woods scouting, I still got to do my introductory interview with Jason because he came late last night. So let's check in with that. All right, so what is your name?
My name is Jace. Well, Jason, most people just know me as Jace, but from the Poconos.
Nice, the Poconos. And a lot of people don't know this, but I actually had a contract on the house in the Poconos, and it failed the septic inspection, and so I got out of the contract, and now I live in Lamar. So I almost was your neighbor. So hey man, thanks for joining us, by the way, and what are your thoughts going into the map reading challenge?
It's pretty exciting. I spent a lot of time already looking at the maps, and right now I'm just kind of chomping at the bit to get out there and see what it actually looks like. You know, you can look at the maps for so long and you kind of picture what you think it's going to look like, but
Right.
in the end you're not.
It could be a big surprise
yeah,
when you
you're
get
not
out
sure,
there.
So I just can't wait to get in there.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, let's just close this interview and go scouting.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Good luck.
There, boys.
Divide and conquer.
So I'm finally on the road and heading to my spot. I've been waiting for this moment. Been looking at maps for so long. I met all the guys last night. Seemed like a great crew, and that was the part I was looking forward to the most, was meeting the guys, and it was a lot of fun playing with Lewis yesterday. But now it's time to get down to business. According to GPS, I have arrived. I'm at somebody's house. So first things first, I'm just surveying the land here, you know, finding a place to park, and how I'm going to access the point I want to get to is, you know, starting from the very beginning, is how to get in there, where to park. And there's no designated parking here, so I'm going to start with that. So I'm just going to survey the area. I want to sit up here on this ridge. So there's several different ways I can get to it, and I just got to try to figure out what is best. I didn't even get into the woods yet, and I got a deer running right to me. A little fawn. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's about 30 yards away. Future booner. Cute little bugger. So I'm just cresting the hill to the point where I put a pin prior to all this. This is the first I've stepped in the woods, so I mean, I have no idea what to expect. I went right to this pin that I spent a lot of time researching on the internet, topo maps, satellite images, and I'll tell you what, it's awesome in here. I am really pumped about this because a lot of times, you know, you look at the maps all you want, the topo maps, you think you know a pretty good spot, you go to it, and you know, for whatever it's just thick, or you know, the terrain just doesn't work out, or you could tell that it's haunted, there's tree stands around. But right now I really like it here. The way I came in here is not ideal. I will have to work on that. I'm gonna kind of just float around on top of this ridge and pick a couple trees that I think would work, and I'm gonna have to find out a better way to get in here, because I scaled like 2 ridge tops to get here, and what I'm hunting is I'm gonna blow everything out of here by the time I get here. But I'm pretty pumped about this.
One of the neat things about Jason is that he's a little more experienced both in videoing and in hunting than a lot of the guys I've had in the Map Reading Challenge. In the last shot, he actually had to set up a camera, walk all the way down through the woods and come back just to get the shot. So that just shows a little bit of an understanding of production that was going through his mind while he was out scouting for deer. So that was neat. But then what I also liked was, in my book, Becoming a World-Class Hunter, I talked about how important water sources can be, especially in warmer temperatures. So when Jason filmed this next segment, I really smiled and thought, yeah, man, we both have a lot of experience, and it's really refreshing to hear you say what you just said.
When I went down into this draw, there's a creek bed here. Now we're in the middle of July and it is dry, so it is it's pretty dried up right now. But there's just little pockets of water left, and a water source like this can be just as effective as a food source. And sure enough, they're definitely using it. The deer in here. So when you have a huge tract of land like this and it's just big woods, there's really not a lot of water around here, so a water source can be just as valuable as a food source.
All right, next we're going to check in with Lewis to see how he's doing during the scout. But before we do, I want to just mention something here. When I'm out scouting on my own, I typically wear a white shirt, something bright. I don't have anything like neon bright in my wardrobe, so I usually wear white. And the reason for that is if I ever get hurt and need somebody to come find me, it's going to be easier for them to see a color like white than it will camouflage or something like that. So Lewis wore this really bright neon sort of yellow shirt, and I was like, that's so good that you did that. I'm glad you did that because of that whole concept. And when I was talking to Lewis later, he's like, yeah, that's why I wore it. And so I just want to draw that out, that example. If you're ever out scouting, hey, you're not hunting, you're scouting. So if a deer sees you and runs off, whatever. What's most important is your safety. If anything happens to you out there and people need to come looking for you, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to find you. And wearing a bright shirt is going to help accomplish that. So keep that in mind when you're out scouting. When you're in a group like this, it's still a good idea. I thought about it, but I wore one of my wicking shirts anyway because I knew it was going to be hot. And but in the big picture of things, even though these guys knew where I was going to be, it would have been a good idea for me to wear a bright shirt too.
Scout Day Part 2. I'm in the same general area where I was yesterday, at least getting started. What the plan is today is to walk right across every bench, run down every spur, and then come back. You know, hey, technical issues. I have a nail in my tire. I wanted to put some air in it before I started scouting. And then as soon as I started scouting, turn on my, oh, now it's coming back on. My GPS keeps going to this white screen. I don't know. You back out of it and it comes back up to where the map is, and then you zoom back in and it goes out. I don't know. I didn't do it all day yesterday, and now it's working again. So I'm working down the hill right now to this bench right there. Took a trail, a hiking trail, and it's pretty much downhill the whole way. Relatively steep too, in some spots, which, you know, that's something I'm gonna have to take into account if I get a deer. You know, depending on the size of it, man, it's pretty treacherous coming back up. So well, that's where I'm at. So I'll come down to the bench area. Oh, I see yellow paint too. I come down to this bench area. Old wooden homemade stand on the ground. So the goal is to have one stand location for every day that we're going to hunt. There'll be 5 total hunts, 2.5 days. So I have 4 marked out. That's what I'm doing. I've got 4 picked out, need 1 more. I'm pretty sure where I'm going to put that 4th one. It's going to be across the road. Yeah, and that's what I'm doing. Hey, Sean, excellent experience. Can't wait to come back in 2 months actually to put a deer down. Looking forward to it, buddy. Thanks.
All right, now let's check in with me to see how I'm making out. coaster. One of those old wooden roller coasters when you're going up. She must have a nest right here. Good acting job. It's a big pile of scat right there. I am particularly excited about that spot. I had brought 2 trail cameras that I wanted to hang up in that area, and I hung one at the one area that I was really excited to check out, and it's just got, I mean, if there's a spot that I've ever had where I feel like I'm guaranteed I could take a shot at something if I wanted to, I feel like that's it. There was so much fresh sign, scat everywhere, beat trails, right on the edge of a super thick bedding area. It's just, it's so ideal. Awesome spot. So I went and picked up Andrew, because I had to pick him up anyway to take him to this next area we wanted to look at. But on the way, I said, let's stop here and hang the camera. And I brought him with me. Here's what we did. So this is my closet hope. I am hoping that I shoot a buck at the spot I just checked. First hunt. And although I want Andrew to get a buck.
You want one better?
No, I hope that this is what I would like. I would like you to not get one on your first sit so that I can then take you to this spot and video you shooting a buck, a nice buck.
Okay.
Like a 10-point buck.
That'll work. That will work.
But so this is a spot that I wanted to, I'm getting this gut feeling that I should hang a camera there, and it doesn't mean it's right or anything, but I'm just gonna, since I didn't hang a camera at my other spot, I'm taking a camera and I'm gonna hang it there, and we'll see what kind of information it brings. And you know, if there is a decent buck work in the area and Andrew hasn't filled his tag yet, I'd like to take him back there and video him shooting his first nice Maryland 8-pointer, 10-pointer,
Hey,
whatever, something
more.
pointer,
I won't complain.
antler pointer.
Yeah. But yeah, this spot did look promising, and it's kind of funny that we both picked the same sort of location as well, this whole area. We both picked the same spot as a promising location. You could follow it the whole way.
Yep. These bear, they use the same trails everywhere. So here's bear scat, and the leaves are completely pushed out of their foothold spots, like where their paws come down. And these trails are, it's amazing that these bear, it's like they use the same trail every day, putting their paws in the same exact spot, and it just wears them out smooth. It's just, there's a lot of bear here, man. All right, so here's what we have. As you notice, this is the tree I was thinking of putting a hang on in, right here. What you have is, we came across the top area and it's wide, but as you can see, it narrows down to a point right here, and that just kind of funnels the deer all right here tight.
Nice and thick right there.
And yeah, real thick. They walk right along. I found the really beat trail. They walk the edge of that and then they cross over. Yep. And there's some old buck rubs down on some of these saplings over here. But it's just a good area for them to kind of cross over, and I was thinking of setting up a camera right here. Here's bear scat right here.
There's a bunch of nuts.
Of course, neither of us had a camera ready, but we just had a huge bear run right across the road in front of us, up into the woods here. Andrew had his camera closer at hand. We saw a flash of him, but not good enough to get footage.
That was a big animal.
So we finally got over to the other area that we wanted to look at. I dropped off Andrew, drove about a mile to where I wanted to look at, and I headed up into the woods. Here's my experience. So video cameras never do it justice, but there's a very steep ridge that drops off very, very steeply right here. And the wind currently is blowing from the west up the hill into my face. And right here on the very top of this ridge is a deer bed right here. Good sized deer bed as well. It was facing that way. And then there's bear prints right behind it. There's a bear print there.
a bear print there, and then they go up through there. But it's always good, it's really good to stop and look at a deer bed, decide, okay, what was the deer doing here? Why did it pick this spot? There's kind of a thick backdrop here, it drops off real steeply down the back side here. It just provided a good vantage point for the deer to smell anything on this side. And here, it probably could have heard anything coming up this side, it's so thick. But it's always good to analyze deer beds. And ask the question, why did the deer choose this spot? As soon as I turned off the camera, I looked over and there's 2 more deer beds. One right here and one right there. Again, good sized deer beds. Safety in numbers. Deer like to hang out in numbers. It could have been a group of doe or a bachelor group of bucks, but it's a little early in the year. It's only July right now, so I don't know. The bucks aren't always hanging out together that much this time of year. Sometimes they are, but bedding area. Fresh green deer scat. Still some flies in the area. Probably within a day that's been put there. And I'm about 30 yards, 20 yards from the deer beds. So I'm headed back to the car so I can go get Andrew. There were deer beds all the way across that ridge. I mean, within a 100-yard stretch, I had about 8 different deer beds. Definitely a good morning spot. The deer are utilizing, it's a steep hillside on both sides, so it's hard to get at them, and you know, they could hear anything coming. Good bedding area.
All right, let's head over to see what Andrew's encountering at his spot, and I'll also say this is the big funnel area that I was emphasizing earlier that I was really proud of him for picking out. Let's see what he finds.
All right, so the area I was looking at going is all the way down at the bottom of this hill that I'm on. The road is right on top of me, and there's a pasture way at the bottom, so I was figuring I'll catch the deer coming out of the pasture. But there's a couple things going on here. First of all, I only have an hour to scout, so it's a half hour in and a half hour back. Not a lot of time. But what I noticed is right next to where I had planned to come in is a super thick area just to my side here. So I'm like, wow, this is totally the bedding area for maybe for the pasture down at the bottom. So, and it looks like it loops around, I don't know, maybe 100 yards or less, and then forms a little circle here. So I'm going to check out around the outside of that, and I am seeing deer scat all over the place here. There it is. There's some more. There's some bear scat. Well, maybe actually no, that's deer scat too, just matted down. But a lot of deer scat apparently right around this bedding area. So, you know, maybe I don't actually have to walk all the way down. Maybe I just set up right along the outside of this bedding area and see what happens. That would be great because it'll save me the hike. So that's the plan. All right, so I'm pretty encouraged by what I've been seeing here. There's this logging road or an old logging road that separates the real thick area from this real steep area below me, and it's about 100 yards wide, the thick area, by like 70 yards deep, and lots of fresh sign. And you know, up to now I've been seeing lots of deer trails, but just not lots of fresh sign. So at least now I'm actually seeing the fresh sign. So it's a great feeling to kind of confirm what I've been thinking. And the great thing is, I wasn't sure if I should put up a trail camera, but I just decided, yes, I'm going to put up a trail camera here because it's so easy to get from the road. I could just swing by and check it at, you know, back at camp, and then decide if I want to hunt here. But looks good. Andrew Penzie, hunting smarter, not harder.
On my way over to pick up Andrew, I just had to stop and get some footage of this spot.
Beautiful scenic overlook here. After a rough morning of scouting, it's nice to take a moment to look out over that. That worked out. Yeah. My phone's still trying to send you a drop point of where I'm sitting, but it's having trouble sending the message out.
Well, I'm really glad I came here. I was debating on do I hang another trail camera, but this solidified my decision because there was deer sign everywhere, fresh deer sign, which was what I've been looking for all day yesterday.
And you weren't going to bring the camera until I talked you into it.
Yes, so you're right. Good thing I brought it, because I set the camera up just inside the road here is where I saw most of the sign. So it's an easy grab if I want to just grab it and run back to camp and look at it at camp before hunting. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I'm really excited about it. Can't wait to see what's on there. Man, I want to know now.
And that's a tip. It's something I've learned from my own regrets and experiences. In this situation, we were going to scout for about an hour. Andrew was really going back and forth. Should I take my trail camera? Should I not? I don't want to carry extra weight if I'm not going to set it up. I said, Andrew, you're not going to have to carry it for that long. We're only going to be here like an hour. And you don't want to get in there and find a great spot that you want to set it up and then regret it. I said, just bite the bullet, carry the trail camera, because if you find that spot, you're going to want to hang it up. And he did find that spot, and he did hang it up. So I just say that to you. If you're ever going back and forth, I don't know, just say, you know what, I'm going to suck it up and do it. I'm going to bring that one extra thing because just in case I need it, I'm going to be really glad. And if I don't have it, I'm going to regret it. So that's something I've learned along the way, and I pass on to you. All right, the scouting's done. Let's go meet up with the other guys to see what they have to say. And I'm also going to say the first little segment here will only make full sense to you if you watch the prank video that we did on Lewis. If you haven't seen that already, I'll put a link for it in the description section of this one so that you get the full picture of what's going on. So let's head over and see the guys.
Yeah, know you a little bit better. You got to sign my hat now, for real.
I'll sign it for real.
You can sign it.
I'm gonna sign it on the top
yeah,
because I don't want to interfere with the bottom.
Wait, you're catching this baby in.
Reading challenge. There you
Let's see, what does it say?
go. It says Louis Brennan MRC Map Reading Challenge. Go sell it
Nice.
on eBay for
That'll be my good luck hat.
It is gonna be
I
good.
just got one more signature yet. Where is he? So yeah, my middle name is Hunter. My last name is Farmer. I had to live up to one of those names, and
Farming doesn't happen.
the thought of waking up, at 3 in the morning to milk cows just wasn't really appealing to me. So Hunter it was.
All right, we gonna get his signature?
Oh yes, you. I was told that you will decline the value of my hat, but I don't believe it. So I'm gonna have you sign my hat anyway.
Is this a prank? You setting me up?
I don't know. Maybe if you might be able to.
It's an exploding pen.
Did you do it, Lewis?
Yeah.
That's funny.
You're famous, Andrew.
Comac, New
What
York.
about that? Where'd you put it?
Map Reading Challenge 2016.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just leave it as that.
Just put Comac, New York.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Wow, that's fancy.
All signed up.
It's official.
Sweet. So I left my keys for the trail camera at home, but when I went to put the cable lock around the trail camera, I was tightening up. You're able to tighten it without pulling it out, and I almost had it completely tight, and I realized I didn't put the trail camera on yet, and I had just enough slack to reach in there and put the camera on, because that would have really sucked to come back and
for
just
cool
know
trail
it's sitting
cameras.
there for 2 months with nothing.
Well, fortunately, you will have 2 months of information to gain now that you have properly engaged the trail
I have
camera.
1,000 photos of big fat bucks. That's what I want. Yeah.
I would have liked to set a trail camera, but first time walking the woods, I didn't know where
Yeah.
to go. Now, if I could go back again, I'd know where to set one, but I think I ran out of time.
Yeah, I'm not setting up any either. I didn't set up any.
Well, that's how you learn. Like now, after you actually finish the hunt, you go back and say, how could I have handled hanging a trail camera even though I've never been here before? Just carry it around, and why would I have picked one spot over another? And that's how you do it. That's how you get better each time.
Yeah. Exactly. That's how you get better as a hunter.
It just makes sense, Sean.
Hunting just makes sense.
Yes.
All right, let's see you guys back here in 2 months. See what happens. Good luck, guys. Well, there you have it. The scouting's done. The trail cameras are hung. Now it's a patience game waiting for that first day of the hunt. And I'll tell you what, I'm not only excited, but I am curious to see what's going to happen in this year's Map Reading Challenge. Are these guys going to score? I don't know. And I'll also say this. The actual hunt is coming up, and we're able to get the forecast already for the hunt. The 15-day forecast, currently they're calling for a lot of rain and some thunderstorms. Is that going to ruin our chances? Are we going to overcome? The curiosity increases. Let's see what happens in this year's Map Reading Challenge. I hope you're going to stay tuned to find out. Until then, take care and God bless.